All right, we're live. The topic today is energy. Will's got some great energy today, so let's get with it. Will's gonna start.
Yeah, I did. And then I got highly frustrated having equipment malfunction. So I did get a little frustrated. I am a little frustrated right this second that having some quality technical difficulties, but that's just how it goes sometimes. Energy. I just kind of wanted to kind of put something in perspective about energy and even like the power of the unseen. You know, everything is energy. Everything is made up of energy, right? Energy has physical mass that most scientific instruments can't detect, and I just kind of wanted to get on some here. I want to make sure I make a note of where I'm trying to go back to. Right here. Think about like in nature, right? There's a lot of unforeseen. I mean, you could probably grasp, comprehend that there's a lot of unseen forces that are going on a daily basis that that doesn't even comprehend. I'm going to tie this all back in, as in like nature, for example, or just, dogs being able to hear, animals in nature, bears and, cats, dogs, just being able to have a very sensitive and high developed sense of smell. They can smell for miles, but you can't really, but there isn't really any scientific instruments that can detect what's happening, or, snakes, and they stick out their tongues and be able to just pick up what's going on, the electricity of the earth, and be able to know where there's a mouse or there's danger, just in the millisecond that the little tongue comes out and things like that, or bats and birds being able to migrate just using the electromagnetic field around the earth. You can't see it. Scientists are baffled by it because there's no instruments. How do they know where to go? Or like an eagle or a hawk in the air, scoping out fish and being able to see the fish and be able to pick up on the energy or the frequency that the fish is emitting in advance where it's moving. And for some magical reason, the eagle or the hawk or the birds are able to pick up on those frequencies and know where the fish is going and snag it out of the water. But there's no scientific instruments that can prove or can see these type of things. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to get at, there's so many things that just in nature that are going on that's beyond human comprehension, really, or the car. Me personally, I don't know all the inner workings of the car, the explosions and the pistons and the crankshaft and all the stuff going on to make a car run. but we still get in cars and drive them. You flip this light right here. Does anybody have it? Does everybody have a clue how that light gets to there in a millisecond? You could break it down to town, but but not everybody understands. This phone, your phones and your tablets and your computers. Does anybody have any idea how this all works? I don't. Maybe I'm the only one that doesn't really know how this all works, but I still use it and get the full benefits from it without even knowing how everything works. Right? I turn on my TV. How does a satellite out in space send a signal through the atmosphere and concrete and everything, and my TV picks it up? I couldn't explain it all to you, you know what I mean? But people still turn it on. The whole point I'm getting at is there's so many things going on that's beyond our comprehension just in nature or just in the things you do. You don't comprehend everything, but you still use them and get the full benefits from it. So now we go, so why is it so hard for people to believe that that their brain emits energy and frequencies, and by law what they send out, which is proven with scientific instruments, that what you throw out, you attract back to you that same type of energy or frequency you're sending out. Oh no, I can't believe that I can be successful if I just change the way I think or how I'm programmed, or but you'll hop in your car and drive to work not even knowing how the car works. So why are you so quick to hop in your car and turn on your TV, to turn on your lights, to get on your phone without even knowing how it all works? But you're not even willing to believe you can achieve anything, everything and anything you want in your life if you were to just change your thinking. Because without the proper thinking, even if you know every skill and technique, you're not going to get any results. Now, even if your thinking is correct, even if you know zero skills and techniques, you will get results. However, when your thinking is right and you know and apply the proper techniques, you get unlimited amount of success. And you don't even have to believe 100%. You don't even have to understand 100% of how this all works, Why is it okay for you to hop in your car and drive around and not know how the car works, but you can't grasp, you just will not accept that you can create the things you want because of your thinking? Because when you think, it throws out energy and frequency, and what you're thinking comes back to you. You cannot, so many people, that is beyond what I believe. But yet, they believe in gravity that they can't see. You believe in that, but you can't see it. I mean, I guess you can see it work, right? But I mean, like all the other things that you don't know how it all works. You don't have to know. You don't have to know how everything works. You just have to be open enough to just know that, hey, some of this might go beyond human or scientific comprehension, but things are still happening. But what I was trying to get on is like this type of information and how it always gets, law of attraction or, positive thinking or doing the right things. You know what I mean? People people don't even people don't even realize the things that they cannot comprehend and believe in, and they cannot comprehend and believe they can achieve the things they want by changing their mindset. And there's steps to that. you know, Clearly defining what you want and figuring out your how and your action steps to get there. There's different steps in that, but I just have, I just wanted to kind of talk about energy and some of the stuff in nature that's going on that can't be explained. So that maybe it kind of, maybe it touches some of you in a way that, you know what, I do believe in those birds catching fish and frequencies. I mean, the fish are emitting energy of where it's going to go. There's no scientific instruments. Maybe there is. I don't know of any scientific instruments that can read that information that the birds are tapping into to know where that fish is going to be. So why can't you believe that? Yes, my brain is a transmitter of energy and frequency, and my thoughts that I am sending out has energy. Excuse me. Has energy and frequency, and what I am sending out is going to come back to me. That's just one element of it, but it's just I don't know. That's where I kind of wanted to start with energy.
Yeah, that's a tricky one because, I mean, with a cell phone, you get to know it works because you get a phone call. With gravity, you know it works because you fall down and out of a plane. And with this other stuff, you've got to trust it's going to work. And I think it works, but people don't want to believe that that's why it worked, right? So like you're like manifesting something. Like say you just have a shitty attitude and you wonder why your computer shut down and why the next thing happened. You said you're sick, and the next thing you know, you get in a car. You just like don't realize that you actually manifested all that stuff. And a lot of people don't see that happening or want to attach the two to why it happened. I.e., like something great happening in your life and not thinking, man, I had really good thoughts. I sat there and I did my daily checkoff sheet in the morning and I focused on exactly what I wanted. And man, all of a sudden, all these great things started pulling towards me. But you won't attach those to that. Whereas people can go, this cell phone says it can take calls, and it will. Gravity says that you will fall, and you do. So those are easy to understand without understanding why they work. Your car takes you to work as it says it will. And so whether you know it works or not, you actually get to see it happen and know why it happened. Whereas with manifesting, it's some people don't realize or put the two together, and they would rather put a different reason as to why that happened, and they would rather say no, it just accidentally happened. No, it has zero to do with it. It was a coincidence that I had a shitty attitude and all these shitty things happened to me that day, or that I had a great attitude and I really focused on my goals and it happened today. But one thing to really give you an example of it working is for famous people is probably the best example, because it's something that's grandiose in your mindset and it's way further than what most people expect out of their life. And 99.999% of them will tell you manifestation. Every one of them. I mean, I would say 100%, but I haven't checked every person out. But every person I have followed from a large accomplishment standpoint talks this manifestation, talks clearly seeing and defining what they wanted before they got it, and how quickly it started to come to fruition. and they all attribute it to manifestation. They don't actually go, oh, I don't know why. Whereas all of us who haven't achieved large, big things don't want to put that together, that was the reason. We would all rather say, oh no, it's the coincidence that all this happened and everything's a coincidence, right? As opposed to, no, everything is supposed to happen that way. Everybody would rather say, no, it's a coincidence. And so they all attribute everything that happens to them to coincidence. Whereas people that have achieved large, grandiose accomplishments all attribute anything that happens to them to manifesting in their mindset. So it's the crazy thing is everybody else that doesn't achieve major shit literally goes, no, that's attributes to coincidence. Everything's a coincidence. Everything is randomly happening, not realizing that your mindset plays into it. And once you can tap in and believe, these people who have gotten to like big places in their life, and the ones who haven't, even if they want to get somewhere big, they still believe that things happen on accident. So they're working their ass off, but their mindset's not right, and they don't have a good compass. So you have energy working in the wrong direction. So it's massive. I mean, that you understand that shit's not an accident. And a lot of people don't until you start doing great shit and realizing, man, I can't explain it either. I can't, and I'm a skeptical person for sure. I have to know, and I'm like, I can tell you why a car works. I can explain a phone too. I can explain a lot of shit. I can explain a lot of shit that happens. Gravity as well. But I see these things happen in my life, and when I do focus and think, it's like, holy shit, all of a sudden these great things start happening once you focus on your mindset. Negative mindset, I start getting fucking frustrated and pissed. The other day I had some scissors and I'm like, God damn it. I start flipping around, I'm like, man, I'm about to hit my fucking eye with this, and it's about to get even worse. I'm about to manifest even worse shit happen, and I start getting frustrated and grabbing shit. Nothing ever happens great out of that, right? You just start gravitating and manifesting really fucking bad shit really quick. So it's crazy because you will never attribute to anything to your mindset or anything until you start achieving bigger and greater things. And sometimes, as I have achieved bigger and greater things, and I have in my past, and I'll start thinking about my mindset at the time, and I remember, like, say, the Snoop Dogg era, it was like, I remember that at that point, Nowdy was really into positivity, and he didn't explain this stuff to me. He just says, I'm just into positive. Anybody who's negative, I keep them out of my life. I didn't know what he meant. But I remember just saying, yeah, I agree. And I did agree. I agree, and being positive and thinking I can do attitude. And that's what I thought he was talking about. Not till later that I realized he was talking this. And I was like, nah, man, anybody who just thinks they can, it's like, just dragging me down, weed them out, you know? And I remember just thinking, like, nothing can faze me. And then the more and more I thought like that, the more great things were happening to me. But I didn't actually know what I was doing. I just remember having the right mindset on accident. The mindset I'm trying to have now, you know, on a conscious level, like whereas before I had it when I was tapped in subconsciously and I didn't even know I had something great. Or if I had this right awareness of what that is and that actual mindset back in the days, the power would be crazy. Whereas I have like a little more defeat over the years that has kind of crept in, and now I have to overcome that. Whereas when I was younger, I hadn't seen all that. And I did not, I just was like to the top, you know, and that's all I thought. So it's crazy though. Most people don't attribute to anything that happens to them to actual, they don't take ownership that this is happening because of you. They automatically think it's happening on accident, and it's just, hey, things happen to me. what kind of control do you have if you think life happens to you as opposed to you taking life by the horns? If you just think, then that, you have no control. Life is just, shit is going to happen to you. You know, like, I'm just going to wait for it to happen to me, and whatever happens, happens. If Jesus grabbed the wheel, you know, it's like, you anything you can control, you need to grab the fucking horns on. Like, it's like, I'm not going to let life happen to me. I'm going to make whatever I want happen. You know, like, life isn't just going to happen to me. You know, my relationship's not just going to happen and unfold the way it's going to. I'm going to take charge of that. You know, whatever it happens to be, I take charge of that. But, you know, take charge of your mindset, because you have no idea how much your energy, good or bad, affects you in your life. You know, it's massive. You know, it's massive, and you don't even see it working for you or against you. And you don't have to know, but anybody who has achieved something major in life, as far as what we think is major, will attribute it to that. They will talk that. None of them deny it. I haven't met one person who's like just largely successful and is like, no, what? That's all bullshit. Hell no. They never got through all those obstacles with a crappy attitude. You know, they were in tune to their mind, their body, and they did it. So energy's massive in the sense of how you approach things. And it's hard to explain, because unless you know, if you don't know, you don't know. If you know, you know. And it's getting yourself to a point where you have to believe enough. And I think what helps believe enough is to do enough. Do enough things where you take a risk and you just risk it in a sense of like blindly believe in it long enough to where you start to see it work. And then you can kind of go, okay. But you have to be willing to push it long enough to see that actually move something, and you go, okay, I can definitely see this stuff in action. But till then, and you just stay in your little quiet corner hiding, you'll never even get to see the magic of it. You'll just get to be regular. And you're like, that doesn't work. Well, you've never tried it. So you've just got to buckle down, jump, and that's it. Just jump.
You don't have to understand all the concepts of how creating what you want work. Like, you don't have to understand all of the other concepts, you know. And should you? I mean, not necessarily. I mean, just too much time, too much effort, right? You know, but and the point is, energy is real. It's not science fiction or some hocus pocus. It's right before your eyes, even though, you know, some things may be, you know, obviously some things may be beyond comprehension, but if you understand the possibility, if you can just understand the possibility that there's things going on beyond your comprehension, it will help you to be able to move forward in your thinking that you can, you know, you can create that successful life, or you can create more happiness, or you can attract that better half that you're looking for in a relationship. You can, you know, have better relationship with your kids or whatever, like whatever it is, you know, if you could just bring yourself to understand the possibility. There's things you cannot comprehend that are going on, like in nature. You know, how is it whales can smell blood from miles away, but we can't? There isn't any science. I believe in science, but there's no instruments that says that's possible, but yet it's possible. It's obvious, right? You know, even though you might not be able to explain it, or it might be beyond human comprehension, but it's still happening. You know, whether you believe you're thinking creates, whether things come in your life is created by your thinking, whether you believe it or not, it's still happening. But if you can be open enough to kind of understand it, then you'll be able to see it for yourself. Most people don't even know it's happening because they're not even like thinking of looking at what's happening. Oh my gosh, this is so important. And I tried to simplify it by analogies of nature and things that you might not know how they work, but you're still using them and getting the benefits from them. That's what I'm trying to. You're still getting the benefits from using things you may not know everything about. So understand the possibility that there's things behind your comprehension on why you're at where you're at in life and why you can't move forward, but you can, or you can attract what you need to get the things you want without knowing what's really going on with your thoughts and your thinking. I just wanted to try, and I really wanted to, for topic today, energy, wanted to find a way to break it down in a way for people to be like, wow.
I mean, I think
I may not know why I'm attracting losers in my life.
The easiest thing to understand is like the transmitter piece where you were talking about that. Like, this is a transmitter and a receiver, and I can transmit to Will right now, and I can receive from him. And what we don't understand is like, you know, how is it that we're not wired together, yet you guys are watching this happen right now on YouTube? How'd this get to YouTube wirelessly? My computer's not connected to anything. It's literally not connected to anything. It goes to the air. So we can send signals. So there's the same thing with cell phones where you can talk to someone across the world or send information, and it's like so many things can be transmitted from space. You're seeing things happen on space. We're getting information from light years away, and it's coming 14 years later. Let's say, you know, we're getting finally some transmissions for that. It came from that long ago. That's how many millions and millions of miles it came, billions of miles. So 14 years later, you're finally getting that information, but it came. Transmitting happens, and that's happening, and you're forced to believe it because you actually see proof of it. But like, it's like, at least know that the proof behind this information is that things get transmitted through thin air. So, and it's happening all the time, from radio waves to cell phone waves to video waves to Wi-Fi waves to, you know, walkie-talkie. I mean, there's just so many things where you're getting all kinds of information through the air. We can get sun radiation poisoning from the air. You know, like, things happen from a transmitting and receiving aspect all the time. Understand that things can, like, I could probably tap into Will's brain had I been able to unlock my mind and understand technique and shit behind it, but that could happen, you know, because it's like, or you'd be dumb to think it can't if you can still believe that the cell phone works the way it does, or that the telephone works the way it does, or that Wi-Fi works the way it does, or that satellite information coming to you and GPS works the way it does. All these different things that work the way they do, you have to believe in some sort of transmitting and receiving type of information. Your brain and our bodies emit electricity. That's a proven thing. We're conductors. That's a proven thing. That's why we get electrocuted and fry if we grab electric. We're conductors. We're electrical. We emit transmissions and receive. And once we understand and can believe that, you'll start understanding that there's way more than meets the eye. It's way bigger than what you can imagine. If you think that everything is only what you see, then you are fucking ignorant. That's all there is to it. that you believe that everything is all what you exactly see. We are not privy to this information. We don't know. We're not smart enough to know. But things are grander than us and what we have been able to figure. You know, rewind 90 years ago. We wouldn't have believed in the telephone. We wouldn't have believed in a cell phone. We would have never believed in any of this stuff. I just read a book on Steve Jobs, and everything they invented, every one of his engineers said, that's fucking impossible. And he says, good, let's have it done in a month. You know, and they would achieve it. Things that they were like, dude, we invented technology that was not there before. You know, a lot of things happened that we wouldn't have believed if they didn't just show up and finally we're here. Understand this information. All we're saying is that energy you transmit and receive, and if you transmit bad, you receive bad. You know, you're as does a. I was just watching this thing like on a lion sitting out in the wilderness, and up come some hyenas and they attack this lioness, right? There is no lions or pride to be found anywhere near. Somehow, and she's not yelling or yelping or anything, just fighting, just swinging her hands at all these hyenas that they're like probably at least 15 attacking her. All of a sudden, the whole pride shows up and then whips the shit out of all the hyenas, and you're just thinking there had to be some sort of signaling happening to where these guys knew to come, or they just heard hyenas going ham. Who knows? But at the same time, you just kind of go like, there's something to it. But if you look at the camera, you can see how big the scope is. It's like there's no way they heard these guys unless they have just amazing hearing, and that's probably true. You know, animals a little bit more advances than as far as other senses. But you know, we give off signals. There's this transmitter piece. Like, we have to understand that there's way more than what you're seeing, and that a lot of that can be your energy and getting what you want and manifesting things, you know. And again, anybody you see who wants what you wish you had will tell you exactly what we're saying. Everyone. Look them up. Find enough interviews on them. And now that, you know, like say you work in the carpet industry, you walk in someone's house, you're going to notice the carpet. I worked in the door industry for a long time. I walk in and I see the doors, and I just like, oh, that's this kind of door. This is a colonial door. I know the molding. I noticed carpet. I worked in the carpet. I noticed housing, roofing, cars, you know, like whatever industry you're in, coffee now. You know, all these different industries, music, you know, I can't stop listening to a song and go, oh, that's the chop snare. Oh my God, they use that so much. You know, like, I notice effects now on videos. There's just so much, or fonts. I noticed fonts, like the lettering, and is that a serif? Is that I New Times? There's all these things you start noticing once you're in the industry. And, anyway, you just start noticing all that stuff. And I forgot the fuck I was talking about now. It's winning down the shit. But you start to be aware of stuff. I'm trying to find my way back. I liked Will's thing before when he said, I'm going to write that shit down so I can find a way back. Because sometimes, man, I'll just go.
I had to look at it, too. So I come back with, you know, the why. You know, why it's so hard for people to.
Oh, okay. So now I know where I'm at. So now I just, because of this information, now that I'm privy to that, now I can't help but notice when somebody speaks about this information that they're not intending to do it. They just randomly will say it in casual conversation. We're like, well, oh, that's manifestation, man. And you see like Big Sean doing it, but he talks about it in his raps. Like, he's hella about this. But then you see like Nipsey Hussle, you see like all these different people that are like very, very, very prominent figures, and you watch enough interviews on them, you'll see them, and you'll just, if you're in tune and you're looking for it like I am, I'm not trying to find it, but I just like walking in someone's house, I'm not trying to look at their carpet, I just gonna notice their carpet doors, handles. You know, I worked at Lowe's 14 years, you know, I'm just gonna notice all this shit, you know, drywall, that's orange peel, that's knockdown texture, there's just so many random things. Well, you know, just like if you were in the textile industry, you would notice, oh, that's that type of stitch I see on that shirt. Oh, I see how they did. Oh, that's a full wraparound tube shirt. Oh no, that shirt has seams on the side. You know, you notice like what style collars or whatever they have. Well, same thing with me when I watch like all these interviews on like famous people, and I've always been really into like interviews and documentaries on like famous people. A new one on Rick James, you watch it enough and then you go, oh, he talks manifestation and that, and you're like, oh fuck, man, every one of these major people that is very large, billionaires as such, literally will speak that. And you you know, you just got to watch enough interviews, but it's not like somebody asked him, hey, so tell me about manifestation. It's just casually in the conversation it comes up. It's like half a second. It wasn't even meant to be about that. And they keep going, and I catch it because I just noticed, like I do carpet doors or whatever, and I go, oh shit. And I'm like, man, that's so crazy. Like they're literally talking about like how like that's part of how they got there was and what they attribute the most to their success will be, you know, manifesting, having a clear vision on what they want, you know, going 100% for whatever it is they're going for, as opposed to half-assing it and just kind of like dilly-dallying and a little bit here and a little bit there. Like literally just all in, jump, take that risk, go for it, and then believe it or not, you'll be caught by a net, and that manifestation will take you wherever you need to go. But like, and it might not look like that, you know. The net doesn't always look the right way. It might be a car living in that for a while, and then eventually the net seems to come later. and then you're on the right track and going, oh shit, thank God that happened, but it didn't look like that was supposed to happen. That wasn't very fun. But, you know, I just noticed that with everybody I see is like there's this form of manifestation. And, you know, what's funny is no one names it something different. It's all like they're hip to like, this is what's up. And it's every time you see someone major, and they're not trying to sell this or off it to someone as a mindset. They're just like, oh no, I thought about it, manifested, and I knew, like everybody, every one of them. I could show you probably 60 examples. You know, hell, and I might do a series on YouTube where I pull up video footage and then show you that little snippets of like famous people speaking about that specific thing that got them where they're at, and how they attribute it. Like, look at Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey writes himself I don't know if it was a 10 million, 12 million, or whatever, however $1 million check. But he wrote himself a certain size check that just so happened to be the exact size check when he signed on to The Mask or Ace Ventura, whatever one came first, and got that exact size check for money to do that movie. And it's so crazy because he wrote that check to himself and he looked at it every day and, you know, manifested that one thing, and that just happened to be the exact amount. And, you know, he might not be telling you that. He's like, when they said, how much do you want for this show? He's like, I want this much, because he wrote that check. Who knows? But the bottom line is, that's what he attributes it to, you know? He's like, lo and behold, my check was, say, 10 million. That's how much the check was. I always thought it was 12, and I swear I looked it up again, and it was like 10, but something like that. Whatever it was the exact same amount. Was his first project that he got a bunch of money for, where he was a starving artist, couldn't afford to pay his rent, about to be evicted, yet he's still doing like In Living Color and all this stuff. And you're thinking, well, you're rich then. You're in Living Color on TV. It's like, no, they didn't pay you as much for each skit. You didn't get paid that much for it. And so you could barely afford to pay your bill, especially living in LA, which is expensive. And, I mean, people want like $2,000 a month for a closet, literally, to rent out the closet. People don't realize that Michael J. Fox lived in a person's closet as the bedroom when he moved from Canada to be down here, and then next thing you know, he's on Growing Pains, you know, became massive in Back to the Future and all the other shit, Teen Wolf. But, you know, lived in a closet, lived in somebody's closet just to make it, to get by. And people are like, oh, it's so glamorous, he moved to LA. No, he moved to LA, couldn't even feed himself, and rented somebody's closet, literally their closet, put a bed in there. So Anyway, the bottom line is you see these guys, they manifest these things and they're like check on the wall, they look at it, they're focused on it, and it's undeniable once you start doing enough research, once you know this information. And it's not like this hope dreams, it's not pipe dreams, it's not like listen to this information, you'll get there. It's like, no, you've got to have belief in yourself. If you just break it down to the simple terms of having a belief in yourself, unrelenting hope in yourself and exactly what's going to happen, and belief that you'll make it, and that with like there's somebody that talks about, hey, you've got to want it as much as breathing, as much as taking your last breath. Like if you don't have it, you'll die. You've got to want it that bad, and if you don't, then you don't. Then none of the shit works. But if you really want it like that, you're going to start thinking like that. You're going to start having that intense of energy about that situation. You're going to it's going to make you just move, So I don't know if we hit it exactly right. It's hard to explain, we like to say all the time, it's so advanced, it's simple, but like explaining energy is maybe not as simple, to explain, but if if you can believe, and if you don't, you don't. I was a person who didn't think I believed, but at one point my friend Nowdy, who believed, didn't explain it that way to me, just talked about it being positivity, and I didn't know, and I was just walking the walk and not talking the talk, and didn't know what I was doing, but I was walking in the right path and I believed the right way. I just didn't know what it was called. You know what I mean? You could know how to punch someone in the face and not know it's called a punch and still perform the punch. All I know is I balled my fist up and I swung my arm out, and that's called a punch. Oh, I didn't know. I punched him like 70 times in the face.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, not everything can be seen or comprehended. But don't let that keep you from just understanding the possibility of your future, that you can achieve whatever you want. Even though you may not be able to comprehend how important your thoughts are, how important it is to clearly define what you want and just be happy and feel good down. You may not be able to comprehend all of the things going on with your positive or negative thinking, but just the understanding that the possibility that thinking positive would probably give me a better chance of having positive things happen in my life.
And I think that's where it's so advanced. It's simple. It's like, believe you can and you're right. Believe you can't and you're right. Like it's like that simple. Like that's the part that's simple.
Can't.
Like, yeah, it's like
both are true.
So your belief system is so massive. Again, believe your life sucks. It sucks. Then, if you believe your life's great, it's great. like even it, like there's some. That's why he goes. How do those people that are like poor are so happy with each other? They're just so content. And I'm mad because I'm not a rich rapper. It's like. It's because you believe you are, and you are. If you believe you're not, you're not. And so your belief system is massive, but capturing enough strength to believe in that's a little bit tricky, like to be able to do it. It just takes time, and it takes constant. I mean, for me, I struggled for a long time. I finally am at a point where I'm like, Rob, it's all good, dude. But it took me actually knowing this information, exercising it, failing at it, having some good parts of it, learning about it, failing at it, like in a sense of like, not failing because I kept trying, so I'd never failed. But at the same time, like going, I'm still getting super upset, and I still get super upset, man. I'll tell myself 10 minutes before, do not get angry, don't get upset, don't be all like, and 2 seconds later, I'm flipping the fuck out, but like, for the most part, like, I find myself, when I start to down myself, immediately snapping out of it and go, no, you're cool, man. It's all good. No matter what happens, you're on the right path. You know what you want, you're focused. And that was a lot of very focused work and time with myself and understanding what I wanted. But it was a process, you know what I mean? I always know what I want. I've always known what I wanted. I always know where I was going. I always have known that. But not clearly defined enough to where I could overcome negative thinking. Once I started focusing on it enough and making it even more clear, even though I always knew, no, I know I want to go up somewhere bigger and better and have a very good idea of where I'm going, it wasn't clearly defined enough to where I could get over my negative thinking. And even if I felt like I'm not there or where I wanted to be yet, understanding it clearly enough to where I was trying to go, that I am on my way and my behaviors have led me and been progress, whether that's small micro pieces of progress or not. I would recognize them as progress, whereas not clearly defining where I'm going would make me feel like I wouldn't be able to recognize that my behaviors that were, say, of the past 2 weeks were actually taking me in the right direction, meaning I'm actually being successful and I am actually on the path to getting there, meaning at some point I will meet my destination and where I'm trying to be. I like that blue background better, by the way.
This one?
No, the one with your side lights. It was more on brand with all the blue we have going on. The red just looks like red.
Oh, that's an easy fix.
Yeah, it just looks like it makes the whole look. If you could see the actual podcast or show, it this looks way more consistent. Like we're in the same room.
It looks better on my screen.
However, I feel like I see red in your tones, like something's red that's giving you red lights. You know there is a red light. You just don't want to say it.
Yes, so I just wanted to try and make it easier for some of you people, or just have us break it down. This was a really good one, actually. Just kind of break it down, because it shouldn't be, of all the things people can believe in, it shouldn't be that hard for people to comprehend that they can achieve what they want. Why does that have to be so hard? But believing in UFOs is so much easier than believing that you can achieve the things you want if you're starting by changing your thinking, or even understanding the possibility that your thinking is where it starts. You know, it shouldn't be so hard. Like, it should almost be like man, I'm having so much positive shit. We need to think of some negative stuff to have some, you know what I mean? We should be saying the other way, because it should be so easy to think positive, and we should have conversations about, man, I kind of need some negative stuff to happen. You know what I mean? Because all this positive, I mean, this is automatic. Duh. I think positive stuff happens. We should be like, wait, you have negative stuff happening to you? How's that possible? How's it possible that you have negative stuff happening to you? We should be blown away by that. But instead, we got to have hard conversations that, no, you can do what you want to do. You can be successful and fly to Mars. You can, man, work for yourself and do your own thing and be whatever it is. You can. If you can start to understand and comprehend that you may not know how it works, but you just know it works. You know, people believe in Bigfoot, but there's, you know what I mean? You can believe in Bigfoot, but you can't believe that you can work for yourself. It should be this simple. And that's what I was trying to get at, even though we went through this whole thing about energy. But I'm glad we did, because the power, because you don't, it's not always easy to see energy happening. But it's happening. And I figured nature was a good way, and animals is a good way to kind of show some of that we don't know. There's no instrument. Science really can't prove a lot of these things, how these things can happen, but they are still happening. So you may not know how you can achieve all the things you want in life, but you don't have to know how it all works. Just know it works. That's all I got. Since you're playing something, that's all I have.
So yeah. So that's pretty much the point. Your energy is gonna get you what you want. So you have negative energy, you'll probably manifest negative things. Positive energy, you're gonna get. You're at least set up to have more positive things happening. So I think that's as simple as it gets. So yeah, basically, hope you guys like this. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Comment in the section if you like this length of video, or if you want longer, or what format you do like, or what you want to know about. Also, we'll have the daily checkoff sheet in the actual description, and you'll be able to check that out. So that'll be cool.
Yeah.